Sometimes the loudest place in your life isn't the world around you. It's the quiet space inside your own heart. Before this day has even begun, your mind may already be racing through unanswered questions, unfinished responsibilities, unexpected fears, and burdens that feel too heavy to carry alone. But what if God were inviting you to begin this morning differently? What if, instead of rushing into another busy day, you chose to pause and rest in His presence first? Psalm 46:10 gives us a simple yet life-changing invitation. Be still and know that I am God. Today, don't let those words pass by as something familiar. Let them become the place where your anxious heart finally finds rest. During these next few moments of prayer, release the pressure to solve everything before the day even begins. Lay down every fear that has quietly stolen your peace. Open your heart to the gentle presence of the God who remains unshaken, even when your world feels uncertain. As we pray together, ask Him to calm your heart, silence your fears, and fill you with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing He is still God, and He is already holding this day in His hands. Father, before I ask you for anything else this morning, I ask you to quiet my heart. There are days when my greatest struggle is not what is happening around me, but everything happening within me. My thoughts begin running before my feet even touch the ground. My mind starts rehearsing conversations that have not happened, imagining problems that may never come, and carrying responsibilities that do not belong to this moment. Without realizing it, I begin living several hours ahead of where you have placed me, while my heart quietly loses the peace you desire for me. But today, Lord, I choose to stop. I choose to pause. I choose to remember your invitation instead of listening to my anxiety. Your word in Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Those words are not simply an invitation to become physically quiet. They are an invitation to release the constant need to control everything I cannot control. They remind me that while my circumstances may change, your character never does. While my emotions rise and fall, your faithfulness remains constant. While my understanding is limited, your wisdom sees the entire path before me. Teach me what it truly means to be still, not only in my surroundings, but deep within my soul. Father, there are burdens I have been carrying for so long, they have begun to feel normal. Worries have become habits. Restlessness has become familiar. I have become so accustomed to solving everything in my own strength that I sometimes forget what it feels like to simply rest in your presence. Yet you are gently reminding me this morning that peace is not something I must create. It is something I receive when I stop striving and begin trusting. Help me believe that with all my heart. Lord, calm the places inside me that no one else can see. Calm the fears I rarely speak about. Calm the silent pressure I place upon myself to always have the right answers, to always appear strong, and to always know what comes next. Teach me that I do not have to carry tomorrow before today has even begun. Your presence is enough for this moment, and this moment is all you are asking me to surrender. As this new day unfolds, let Psalm 46:10 become more than a verse I remember. Let it become the rhythm of my heart. Whenever my thoughts begin to race, gently whisper, "Be still." Whenever fear begins to grow louder than faith, remind me, "Know that I am God." Let those words settle deeply within me until they transform the way I think, the way I respond, and the way I walk through this day. Father, before I seek productivity, before I seek answers, before I seek success, let me first seek the quiet confidence that can only be found in resting completely in your presence, because there is no safer place for my heart than there. Father, As this morning continues, and the responsibilities of this day slowly begin to appear before me, I ask you to teach me something my heart often forgets. That true peace is not found after every problem has been solved, but while resting in your presence even before the answers arrive. So often, I convince myself that I will finally experience peace once everything is under control, once every uncertainty has disappeared, once every prayer has been answered exactly as I hope. Yet the more I chase that kind of peace, the more I discover how fragile it is, because life is always changing. New responsibilities emerge, unexpected situations appear, and questions that seemed resolved are sometimes replaced by new ones. But your peace is different. It is not built upon perfect circumstances. It is built upon your unchanging presence. Your word says in Psalm 46:10, "Be still and know that I am God." Lord, those words invite me into a place that is deeper than temporary comfort. They invite me into complete confidence that you remain God, regardless of what this day may bring. Whether this morning unfolds exactly as I planned or takes a completely different direction, you remain the same. Whether I receive good news or face unexpected challenges, you remain the same. Whether I understand what you are doing or I find myself walking through uncertainty, your presence does not change, your faithfulness does not weaken, and your love does not become smaller because my understanding is limited. Father, help me carry that truth into every moment of this day. Before I answer a difficult conversation, remind me to become still. Before I allow worry to take control of my thoughts, remind me to become still. Before I react to disappointment, before I become frustrated by delays, before I allow fear to shape my perspective, gently draw my attention back to you. I want my first response to be your presence instead of my emotions. I want my heart to become so familiar with resting in you that peace begins to replace panic as naturally as breathing. Lord, there are fears that make a great deal of noise inside my mind. They try to convince me that I must carry every responsibility by myself, that every mistake will define my future, and that every unanswered question is a reason to become anxious. But today, I choose to believe something greater than those voices. I choose to believe that your invitation to be still is stronger than every fear trying to pull me away from your peace. I choose to believe that you are already present in every moment I have not yet lived. And because you are already there, I do not need to be afraid of what is waiting ahead. As I continue walking through this day, let my soul return again and again to the quiet place where your presence speaks louder than my worries. Let every deep breath remind me that I do not have to force peace into my life, because peace is found in the certainty that you are God. Calm my heart, silence every fear that competes for my attention, and teach me to live this day from a place of rest instead of striving, because there is no greater security than belonging completely to you and trusting that your loving hands are already holding every moment of my life. Father, there are moments when the greatest battle I face is not the situation in front of me, but the constant noise within me. It is possible to appear calm on the outside while carrying an endless storm inside my heart. There are worries that no one else can see, questions I cannot answer, and fears that quietly return whenever my mind becomes still. Sometimes I do not even realize how much of my energy is being consumed by thoughts about tomorrow, by memories of yesterday, or by circumstances that are completely beyond my control. Yet this morning, you lovingly invite me to something completely different. You invite me to stop measuring my peace by the stability of my circumstances and to begin measuring it by the certainty of your presence. Your word in Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Lord, I want those words to become more than something I read. I want them to become the atmosphere in which my heart learns to live. Teach me that being still does not mean pretending problems do not exist. It means refusing to allow those problems to become greater in my mind than the God who holds my life in His hands. It means choosing trust when fear demands control. It means believing that your presence is more powerful than every uncertainty I will ever face. Father, I confess that I often try to carry responsibilities. You never asked me to carry. I spend time worrying about conversations that have not happened, imagining outcomes that may never come, and searching for answers that you have not yet chosen to reveal. In doing so, I slowly rob myself of the peace you are freely offering today. Forgive me for believing that constant worry is somehow a form of preparation, when in reality, it only steals the strength I need for the present moment. Teach me instead to prepare my heart by remaining close to you, because a peaceful heart will always make wiser decisions than an anxious one. Lord, whenever fear begins speaking louder than faith, gently bring me back to your presence. When my thoughts become scattered, gather them again around the truth that you are still God. When my heart begins to race ahead into tomorrow, remind me that your grace is already sufficient for this moment. Help me to notice the beauty of this morning, the gift of this breath, the quiet evidence of your faithfulness surrounding my life in ways I too often overlook because I am distracted by things I cannot control. As I continue through this day, let your presence become the place where my soul continually returns. Whether I experience moments of joy or moments of uncertainty, let my first instinct always be to rest in you. May your peace shape my reactions, soften my heart, slow my hurried thoughts, and remind me again and again that I never have to carry life alone. The world may continue moving at an exhausting pace, but my heart can remain still because it has found its resting place in the unchanging presence of the one who will always be God. Father, as this day continues to unfold, I do not want this peace to remain only a beautiful feeling I experienced during this prayer. I want it to become the way I live. I want your presence to accompany me into every ordinary moment, every unexpected interruption, every conversation, every responsibility, and every quiet space in between. It is easy to feel close to you while I am praying, but the true challenge is remembering that you are just as present when the prayer ends as you are while these words are leaving my lips. Teach me to carry an awareness of your presence wherever I go, so that I never begin living as though I have been left to face this day by myself. Your word in Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Lord, let those words remain alive in my heart from this moment until I lay down to rest tonight. When my schedule becomes full and my attention is pulled in many directions, remind me that your presence has not become distant simply because life has become busy. When unexpected problems appear, help me resist the temptation to panic before I pray. Instead, teach me to return inwardly to that quiet place where my soul remembers who you are. There, fear begins to lose its voice, and confidence quietly grows because my heart is resting in the certainty that you remain completely sovereign over every detail of my life. Father, I ask you to transform not only the circumstances around me, but also the posture of my heart. Instead of constantly looking ahead with worry, teach me to become fully present in the moment you have given me. There is so much beauty I fail to notice, because my mind is occupied with things that have not yet happened. There are blessings that pass unnoticed because I am distracted by possibilities that may never become reality. Open my eyes to recognize the evidence of your goodness in the ordinary rhythm of this day. Let me see your kindness in simple conversations, in unexpected moments of peace, in small opportunities to encourage someone, and even in the pauses that remind me to breathe and remember that I belong to you. Lord, help me understand that stillness is not weakness, nor is it the absence of responsibility. It is the quiet confidence of a heart that knows it does not have to carry life alone. It is the peaceful assurance that while I am limited, you are unlimited. While I see only today, you already hold tomorrow. While I struggle to understand, you remain perfectly wise and completely faithful. The more I remember who you are, the less power fear has over my heart. The more I rest in your presence, the less I feel compelled to control every outcome. So let this day become an ongoing conversation between my heart and yours. In moments of silence, remind me that you are near. In moments of pressure, remind me that you are near. In moments of joy, remind me that you are near. Whether this day unfolds exactly as I hope or completely differently than I expect, let my soul return again and again to the truth of Psalm 46:10. You are God. You have never stopped being God. You will still be God when this day is over. Because of that unchanging truth, I choose to walk forward with a peaceful heart, a quiet mind, and a deep confidence that your presence is the safest place I could ever be. Father, as the hours of this day move forward, I ask you to help me practice stillness, not only when life feels peaceful, but especially when life becomes demanding. It is easy to speak about rest when nothing is pressing against my heart, but I need a deeper kind of peace, the kind that remains when responsibilities multiply, when conversations become difficult, when plans change without warning, and when my emotions begin searching for something solid to hold on to. Teach me to discover that stability, not in the absence of trouble, but in the presence of the one who never changes. Your word in Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Lord, I receive that invitation again in this moment. I do not want to rush through it as though stillness were something small or passive. I want to understand that being still before you is an act of trust. It is the decision to stop arguing with fear, stop negotiating with anxiety, stop rehearsing every possible outcome, and start remembering that you are greater than everything trying to disturb my peace. Calm my heart when I feel responsible for things that are beyond my control. Silence my fears when they try to convince me that worry will somehow protect me. Remind me that I can be faithful without being frantic, responsible without being overwhelmed, and attentive without surrendering my peace. Let my soul learn the difference between carrying what belongs to me and releasing what belongs only to you. Father, let your presence become the quiet center of this day. When the world around me feels rushed, help me move with wisdom instead of pressure. When others bring tension into my space, help me respond from peace rather than from irritation. When my own thoughts become heavy, draw me back to the simple truth that you are God, you are near, and you are holding what I cannot hold. I surrender the need to control every detail. I surrender the fear of what might happen. I surrender the inner noise that has kept me from hearing your peace. Let stillness become a holy place within me, a place I can return to again and again throughout this day. And as I rest there, teach me to trust not only what you are doing, but who you are. Because when my heart truly knows that you are God, fear loses its authority, anxiety loses its throne, and peace begins to rise quietly within me, like morning light over a weary soul. Father, as I place this day completely into your hands, I realize that the greatest gift you have given me through this prayer is not the promise of a life without challenges, but the assurance that I never have to face those challenges apart from your presence. My circumstances may not have changed since this prayer began, but my heart has. It has become quieter, steadier, and more willing to trust the one who has always been worthy of my confidence. Your word in Psalm 46:10 continues to echo within my soul. Be still and know that I am God. Lord, may those words remain alive in my heart long after this prayer is over. When the pace of life begins to accelerate, remind me to return to your presence. When unexpected difficulties appear, remind me to become still before I become afraid. When my mind begins creating anxious thoughts about tomorrow, gently bring me back to the peace of this present moment, where I can remember that you are already there, faithfully holding every detail of my life. Today, I choose to release every burden that was never meant to remain in my hands. I release my fears, my unanswered questions, my need to understand everything, and even the silent worries I have carried for far too long. I choose to rest, not because I know what tomorrow will bring, but because I know the God who is already waiting there. In the precious name of Jesus, I pray. Amen. If this prayer brought peace to your heart today, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel so we can continue beginning every morning together in God's presence. Share this prayer with someone whose heart may also need God's peace today. And before you leave, I would love to hear from you in the comments. What burden are you choosing to place into God's hands today? May the peace of the Lord remain with you. Quiet your heart throughout this day, and gently remind you again and again that He is God. He is with you, and His presence will always be your safest place.